Delhi High Court, legality of the dawn raid, and whether the CCI has jurisdiction to adjudicate infringement of intellectual property rights in India, and restrain the DG from using the documents seized by him during the dawn raid. What do companies do? Just out of interest. Compliance programs, lots of companies, lots of our clients run. You train your people what to do, what not to do. So suppose you have a rogue employee. We were involved in a case with a pharmaceutical company where the guy had sales targets. So he decided, okay, this guy is my best friend, so he and I will do a bid. We will not only reduce the quantities, we will fix the price, whatever else. And I'll write a thank you mail to all my competitors saying, how kind of you to allow me to participate in this market. Company didn't sanction that, but he's still liable. So you train your people right at the beginning and say, do not do this, do this, this is completely not permissible, whatever be the situation. What about the interface between CCI and other regulators? So there's an overlap. Banking comes under RBI, telecom comes under TRAI. So if you see this whole issue about Reliance Jio and their introductory offer, there's a competition case pending. There's a case pending before the TRAI. You had an instance where the TRAI secretary made a view on how this should be proceeded against. So there's still an overlap of jurisdictions. There is one in the SEBI Act and the competition law. So the SEBI securities law is responsible for anything that happens in this market. But the Competition Commission has an overarching jurisdiction. So all things competition come under us. So how do you work with this? There is a provision in the Competition Act saying that you will actually not read it in conflict, you will read it in a collaborative manner, you will consult, but eventually a regulator is a regulator. If I am the RBI and I know how the fiscal system in the country works, I don't want the RBI, the Competition Commission coming to say that, look, you can't charge so much per withdrawal, you must only charge so much per withdrawal, or all of you all are charging the same amount per withdrawal. That's a collusive activity, because we understand what the market is. 90% of the market or 95% of the market may go visit the ATM 3 times or less than 3 times. The others may visit it more, but those are things that the sectoral regulator will understand. But the acts have been coming at different times and they are far too overarching. So that's something that you're fighting about jurisdiction. Of course, the bitter fight is IP and this thing, Competition Commission in JCB, in our case involving Ericsson. You have a DPCO guy saying that you will not charge so much for a stent. Now, everybody will charge the same thing for the stent. What are the competition issues arising out of that? Are you thwarting innovation? Because one of the big things is innovation, right? So if I give you a fair return and I give you a fair profit, you can do newer and better things. But you turn around and say, no, I'm controlling your price, you can't do anything. Innovation is supposed to be held in the interest of public. So it's temporal. So today what you may think is reasonable may not be reasonable going forward. How do you revisit these issues? When I say I'm going to fine you and I can fine you up to 10%, these are huge amounts, as you're seeing 6,300 crores plus damages. So the question here is that, how do I allow people to do this fining? How do you calculate damages? What is the view that, if I had bought so much now and that would have been the market cap, how do you calculate all this? Complex issues, still a work in progress, good for us lawyers, but I think even better for the economy, because if you bring all this into stream, like I said, a perfectly well-oiled economy with a good competition law can have a 1 or 1.5% into the GDP of the country. So these are again cases that are going on. Thank you. I'm happy to take any questions, any comments, anything else. Good. It's the good thing about going over time. Nobody has any questions. But thank you very much. Okay.
On behalf of NSE, I thank Mr. Nathani for a wonderful lecture. We really learned competition law The next lecture, which is the last lecture in the series, the 16th lecture, is on depository receipts, and it will be held on 28th April. I now invite you for tea and snacks outside.